BlackBerry, the secure phone empire that apps destroyed. Cold open, the sound of power. Listen to that sound. Physical keyboard typing. Rapid, rhythmic, hypnotic. That's not just typing. That's addiction. That's power. That's the sound of an empire. 2009, BlackBerry controls 50% of the US smartphone market. Fortune 500 penetration 87%. Obama's personal device. NSA certified. Unhackable. Presidents, billionaires, spies, drug lords, all using the same phone. $80 billion valuation. 41 million subscribers. BBM messages flying across boardrooms, war rooms, and bedrooms worldwide. Then catastrophe. 2013, market share 0.0%. Stock crashes 94%. Valuation destroyed, $75 billion. Jobs vaporized, 12,000. Factories mothballed. The keyboard empire deleted from existence. Not by hackers. Not by competition. By their own boardroom. By cult-like worship of a physical keyboard. And by the most catastrophic misreading of human behavior in tech history. This is that story. Act 1, The Genesis Code. Chapter 1, The Waterloo Prophet. Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. 1984, not Silicon Valley. Not even close. Mike Lazaridis, 23 years old, University of Waterloo dropout, electrical engineering genius obsessed with one idea, wireless email. In 1984, most people don't have email. Mike is designing the device to receive it wirelessly anywhere. People think he's insane. Research in Motion, RIM, founded in a strip mall above a bagel shop. Initial products, LED scoreboards for hockey rinks, barcode readers, film editing systems. Anything to fund the real dream. For 12 years Mike builds, learns, codes, and waits for the world to catch up. Corporate America is drowning in email. Executives chained to desktop computers. Mike has the answer. Mobitech's wireless paging network. Two-way communication. And his secret weapon, push technology. Traditional email you pull, you check it manually. Mike invents push. The server finds you. Messages hit your device instantly. You don't check email. Email checks you. The addiction is built into the architecture. Former RIM engineer says Mike wasn't building a phone, he was building a narcotic delivery system, and the narcotic was information. BlackBerry 850-pager launches. Not a phone. Just email and calendar. Tiny monochrome screen. Thumb wheel navigation. Full QWERTY keyboard. Tech press ignores it. Consumers don't care. But in corporate boardrooms across America, addiction begins. Lawyers first. Wall Street traders. Consultants. Anyone who lives and dies by email response time. The device sits on their hip. Vibrates. Red LED blinks. New message. The dopamine hit is instant. They're hooked before they understand what's happening. The nickname emerges organically, Crackberry. Because checking it feels exactly like feeding an addiction. 1989. BlackBerry 5810. First model with phone capability. Clunky. Requires wired headset to make calls. Looks ridiculous. Doesn't matter. Corporate buyers don't care about aesthetics. They care about email. And BlackBerry email is instant, secure, encrypted end-to-end. IT departments love it. CEOs demand it. RIM stock starts climbing. Chapter 2, The Corporate Addiction Epidemic. 2003 to 2007. The Golden Age. BlackBerry isn't just growing, it's metastasizing through corporate America like a virus. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, every major law firm, consulting firms, government agencies. The device becomes a status symbol. If you have a BlackBerry, you matter. You're important enough that people need to reach you instantly. Executives sleep with them on nightstands. Check them during sex. At funerals. In delivery rooms. The addiction is total and unashamed. Former Wall Street executive describes it. You'd be at dinner, phone face down on the table, red LED blinks, new message, and you physically cannot not look. Your hand moves before your brain decides. We called it Crackberry and we laughed, but we weren't joking. The keyboard is the secret. Physical QWERTY. Tactile feedback. Expert BlackBerry users hit 40 to 50 words per minute thumb typing. Faster than most people type on full keyboards. Muscle memory develops. Eyes closed, they can compose entire emails. The keyboard becomes an extension of their nervous system. RIM studies this. Optimizes key spacing. Key travel distance. The click sound. Everything engineered for maximum typing addiction. When people try other phones, the touchscreen keyboards feel like typing in mud. They come back to BlackBerry. Always. 2005. BlackBerry Messenger launches. BBM. This changes everything. Encrypted instant messaging. But only between BlackBerry devices. You need a PIN number. Exchange pins like business cards. What's your PIN? Becomes the new what's your number. BBM isn't just messaging, it's psychological warfare. The D next to your message means delivered. The R means read. You know exactly when someone reads your message and chooses to ignore you. Executives love this. They can see when their employees read their messages at 11 p.m. and didn't respond. The passive-aggressive power dynamics are intoxicating. By 2007, BBM has 14 million daily active users sending 10 billion messages monthly. The numbers are staggering. 2007, 12 million BlackBerry subscribers. Revenue $3 billion. Stock price $150 per share. 2008, 21 million subscribers. Revenue $6 billion. 2009, 41 million subscribers. Revenue $11 billion. Stock price peaks at $149.90. Market capitalization $83 billion. Larger than Nokia. Larger than Sony. Fortune 500 penetration reaches 87%. IT departments standardize on BlackBerry. Security protocols built around it. Mobile device management software designed for it. Switching costs are enormous. RIM appears unstoppable. Then January 9, 2007. Steve Jobs walks on stage at Macworld. Today Apple is going to reinvent the phone. The iPhone. At RIM headquarters in Waterloo, executives watch the live stream. They laugh. A phone with no physical keyboard? A touchscreen you type on? Battery life of 4 hours? No copy and paste? No third-party apps? No enterprise security? This is a toy. A media player pretending to be a phone. Consumers might buy it. Business users never will. Mike Lazaridis is dismissive in interviews. Touchscreens are for playing games. Professionals need keyboards. Jim Balsillie, co-CEO, tells investors iPhone is not a threat to BlackBerry's core market. The leadership is unanimous. iPhone is irrelevant to their business. They're catastrophically wrong. But they don't realize it yet. 2008, BlackBerry outsells iPhone 2-1. Bold 9000 launches, premium build, leather back, best keyboard ever made. Executives worship it. RIM's confidence hardens into arrogance. The data supports them. They're winning. What they don't see is the shift happening underneath. Consumer behavior changing. Work-life boundaries dissolving. The same executives who swear by BlackBerry for work are buying iPhones for personal use. Two-phone lifestyle emerges. BlackBerry for email. iPhone for everything else. RIM dismisses this. We own the professional market. That's all that matters. Fatal mistake. Chapter 3, The App Apocalypse. July 10, 2008. Apple launches the App Store. 500 apps at launch. Within 12 months, 100,000 apps. Within 24 months, 300,000 apps. Games, social networks, productivity tools, news readers, photo editors, everything. The iPhone transforms from a phone into a platform. An ecosystem. A universe of infinite possibility. Every developer on Earth can now put their software in your pocket. The explosion is instant and total. At RIM, the App Store is viewed with contempt and fear. Contempt because apps are toys, not serious business tools. Fear because every third-party app is a potential security vulnerability. Mike Lazaridis is obsessed with security. The BlackBerry OS is a fortress. Closed, controlled, vetted. No unauthorized code runs on BlackBerry. This philosophy made BlackBerry the most secure phone on Earth. It's also about to kill the company. BlackBerry App World launches 2009. Java-based apps only. Clunky approval process. Fragmented OS versions across different device models. Developer nightmare. Former BlackBerry developer describes it, developing for BlackBerry was hell. Code in Java which was slow. Test on 47 different device variations. Submit to RIM. Wait 3 months for approval. By the time your app launched, the market had moved on. Meanwhile, iPhone developers built and shipped apps in 2 weeks. The numbers tell the story. 2010, App Store has 300,000 apps. BlackBerry App World has 8,000. Most are garbage. But Mike refuses to open the platform. Security is sacred. Every app is an attack vector. Our customers trust us because we control everything. He's technically correct. But he's missing the point. Customers don't want perfect security anymore. They want Instagram. They want Angry Birds. They want Spotify. They want apps. The Fortune 500 CTO describes the moment everything changed. Our CEO's 16-year-old daughter showed him Instagram. He asked IT to install it on his BlackBerry. They said it doesn't exist on BlackBerry. He said, "Get me an iPhone." Within 90 days, the entire executive team had switched. Within 6 months, we deprecated BlackBerry company-wide. 4,000 devices returned to IT. This story repeats across corporate America. The consumerization of IT. Executives who spent a decade addicted to BlackBerry suddenly realize their teenagers have better phones. The status symbol inverts. BlackBerry becomes the old person phone. The dad phone. Uncool. Outdated. The younger generation entering the workforce refuses to use them. They demand iPhones or Android. HR departments panic. Recruiting suffers. Join our company, get a BlackBerry becomes a liability. Companies start allowing BYOD, bring your own device. The iron grip of IT-controlled BlackBerry deployment shatters. BBM, once BlackBerry's greatest moat, becomes an anchor. Your colleagues are on WhatsApp. Your friends on Facebook Messenger. Your family on iMessage. BBM is powerful, but only if everyone you communicate with uses BlackBerry. The network effect collapses in reverse. As each user leaves, the value for remaining users drops. Metcalfe's law in reverse. By 2011, BBM is a ghost town. The PIN exchanges stop. The exclusivity that made it powerful makes it irrelevant. RIM's response is delusional. They released the BlackBerry Storm in 2008. Their touchscreen phone. It's a disaster. Clicking touchscreen mechanism that breaks. Laggy OS. Terrible app selection. Returns are through the roof. Verizon stores hate it. Then BlackBerry Torch 2010, sliding keyboard mechanism. Compromised. Half touchscreen, half keyboard, succeeds at neither. The engineering is confused. The vision is muddled. They're trying to be iPhone while staying BlackBerry. It satisfies no one. Chapter 4, The Civil War. Behind closed doors, RIM is imploding. Two co-CEOs. Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie. Dual leadership structure. Equally powerful. Increasingly opposed visions. Mike is the engineer, perfectionist, obsessed with security and quality. Jim is the dealmaker, aggressive, growth-focused, wants to expand into new markets. They clash constantly. Board meetings become war zones. Decisions gridlocked. Strategy incoherent. Jim Balsillie wants to buy an NHL hockey team. Attempts to purchase Nashville Predators, then Phoenix Coyotes, then believes he can move a team to Hamilton, Ontario. Spends years and millions on this vanity project while the company burns. Mike is furious. We're fighting for our lives and you're playing hockey, GM? Relationship deteriorates. They stop speaking directly. Communicate through intermediaries. The dysfunction radiates through the organization. Former RIM board member, identity protected, board meetings were insane. Mike and Jim would propose contradictory strategies. Fight in front of everyone. Undermine each other's initiatives. The company had two heads and they were trying to bite each other. Meanwhile, Apple and Google were executing with singular focus. We were paralyzed by internal warfare. Product roadmaps constantly change. Projects canceled midstream. Engineers reassigned monthly. Morale collapses. Top talent starts leaving for Google, Apple, startups. RIM announces the Playbook tablet. Their iPad competitor. 7-inch screen. QNX operating system, completely different from BlackBerry OS. Requires tethering to a BlackBerry phone for email and calendar. Launches April 2011 without native email app. A tablet without email. The market is baffled. Reviews are savage. Sales are catastrophic. 2010. RIM takes a $485 million write-down on unsold inventory. The playbook becomes a punchline. But worse, it reveals the depth of dysfunction. How does a company famous for email launch a tablet without email? Internal chaos is total. Stock starts hemorrhaging. $149 in 2008. $70 in 2010. $50 in 2011. Investors panic. Activist shareholders demand change. but Mike and Jim cling to power. They announce BB10, a completely new operating system that will save the company. Ship date, late 2012. Then early 2013. Then mid-2013. Delays cascade. Each quarter, earnings calls become more desperate. BB10 will change everything. Revolutionary touch interface. Full Android app compatibility. Just wait. But the market stops waiting. January 2012. RIM announces quarterly loss of $125 million. First loss in years. Smartphone shipments down 21% year-over-year. Market share in US drops to 6%. The death spiral is visible. Layoffs begin. 2,000 jobs cut. Then 5,000. Then 4,500 more. Waterloo headquarters half empty. Cafeterias deserted. Parking lots barren. The campus that once buzzed with 20,000 employees feels post-apocalyptic. March 2012. Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie resign as co-CEOs. Torsten Heinz, company insider, becomes CEO. His first interview, there is nothing wrong with the company as it is. Investors are horrified. The house is on fire and the new CEO says everything is fine. Stock drops another 8% that day. Torsten doesn't understand the crisis. He thinks it's a marketing problem. A positioning problem. Not an existential platform shift. His leadership is ineffective from day one. Chapter 5, The Death March. January 30th, 2013. BlackBerry 10 OS finally launches. Z10 all-touch screen phone in Q10 with physical keyboard. The event is lavish. Alicia Keys is hired as creative director. Bizarre choice. Reviews are mixed. The OS is actually good. Smooth. Modern interface. Innovative gesture controls. Hub messaging concept is clever. But it's 2 years too late. The app gap is insurmountable. Instagram isn't there. Snapchat isn't there. Major banks' apps aren't there. Users don't care how good the OS is if the apps they need don't exist. Sales are disappointing from week one. Carriers don't push it. Retail stores bury it in back corners. Marketing spend is huge but ineffective. You can't beat iPhone by outspending Apple on marketing. You beat iPhone with better products and ecosystem. BlackBerry has neither. By Q2 2013, the writing is on the wall. BB10 has failed. The company has no path forward. August 2013. BlackBerry announces exploring strategic alternatives. Corporate speak for we're for sale. Potential buyers circle. Lenovo interested. Samsung sniffs around. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg reportedly considers buying BlackBerry for the messaging patents. But the price keeps dropping. No one wants to acquire a dying platform. The patents and enterprise business have value. The hardware division is worthless. September 2013. BlackBerry announces catastrophic quarterly loss of $965 million. Writes down $934 million in unsold Z10 inventory. Phones sitting in warehouses globally. No one buying them. 4,500 more jobs cut. Nearly 40% of workforce eliminated in 18 months. Torsten Heinz is fired. John Chen, turnaround specialist, becomes CEO. His mission, keep the patient alive, not cure it. November 2013. Fairfax Financial's acquisition offer falls through. BlackBerry remains independent but mortally wounded. John Chen begins radical surgery. Exits hardware manufacturing. Licenses BlackBerry brand to TCL. The company that invented the smartphone no longer makes phones. Pivots to enterprise software and services. Mobile device management. Secure communications for government and corporate clients. QNX embedded systems for cars. Cybersecurity services. Becomes a software company that once made phones. The factory in Waterloo closes. Manufacturing moved to Foxconn, then terminated entirely. The iconic BlackBerry campus becomes half tech park, half vacant offices. The company that once employed 20,000 in Waterloo now has 3,000. The city's economy collapses. Real estate prices drop. Restaurants close. The entire region was built on BlackBerry money. When BlackBerry died, Waterloo's golden age ended. Chapter 6: The Untold Secrets. Former RIM senior engineer, recorded anonymously, "We had an app store in 2002. Fully functional. Third-party developers ready to build. Mike killed it. Said it would compromise security. We had push notifications before Apple. We had a touchscreen prototype in 2004. Mike rejected it. Said physical keyboards were superior. We had our own tablet design in 2007. Cancelled because Jim wanted to focus on phones. Every innovation that could have saved us, we invented first and rejected. The what-ifs are agonizing. If RIM had opened their platform in 2008. If they'd embraced touchscreens earlier. If they'd separated BBM from hardware and made it cross-platform. If Mike and Jim hadn't sabotaged each other. If they'd acquired Instagram when it was 13 employees. If they'd made Android BlackBerry phones in 2010. Any of these moves might have changed the outcome. They made none of them. The security obsession was real but misguided. Yes, BlackBerry was more secure than iPhone. But security is worthless if no one uses your product. The market chose convenience and apps over security. RIM refused to accept this. They kept preaching security to customers who wanted Snapchat. Talking past the market until the market left entirely. The keyboard cult was religious. Engineers and executives who'd used BlackBerry keyboards for a decade couldn't imagine life without them. They projected their preferences onto the market. Everyone types faster on physical keyboards. Objectively false. Touchscreen keyboards with autocorrect and predictive text became faster for most users within months. But BlackBerry leadership couldn't see it. Their own muscle memory blinded them. The dual CEO structure was corporate malpractice. No successful major company has co-equal CEOs. One person must have final authority. Mike and Jim's power struggle created strategic paralysis at exactly the moment the company needed decisive action. The board should have forced single leadership years earlier. By the time they did, it was too late. Chapter 7: The Aftermath and Lessons. Today, BlackBerry Limited exists. Stock trades around $5. Market cap $3 billion. Revenue mostly from software licensing and enterprise services. The QNX operating system runs in millions of cars. Not glamorous but profitable. John Chen stabilized the company. Stopped the bleeding. Found a sustainable niche. But it's a ghost of the empire. The brand still has equity. In 2021, a BlackBerry 5G phone was released by Onward Mobility. Nostalgia Play. Launched, failed, company shut down in 2022. The market has spoken. Physical smartphone keyboards are dead. The few who want them are too small a market to sustain a business. Former employees scattered across tech. Many went to Apple, Google, Microsoft. Some became successful startup founders. Others couldn't find work and left tech entirely. The 12,000 jobs lost represent thousands of families disrupted. Mortgages defaulted. Retirements destroyed. The human cost of corporate failure is rarely calculated but always real. 5 executive-level lessons emerge from the wreckage. 1. Security cannot be your only moat. BlackBerry's encryption and security were genuinely superior, but that single advantage couldn't overcome ecosystem deficits. Users need multiple reasons to choose your platform. Security plus apps plus ease of use plus ecosystem. Not security alone. 2. Cult worship of legacy features kills companies. The physical keyboard was BlackBerry's signature feature and its fatal addiction. They couldn't imagine BlackBerry without keyboards, so they built keyboards no one wanted. Your best feature from the past can become your anchor to obsolescence. Kill your darlings before the market kills you. 3. Network effects are reversible and fast. BBM's exclusivity created powerful lock-in until it didn't. The same network effects that drove adoption drove abandonment. As users left, remaining users had less reason to stay. The collapse accelerated exponentially. Never assume your network effect mode is permanent. 4. Internal leadership warfare destroys companies faster than external competition. Mike and Jim's civil war paralyzed RIM while Apple and Google executed. A divided leadership team cannot compete against singular vision. Dual CEO structures are recipes for disaster. 5. Incremental innovation loses to platform shifts. BlackBerry kept making better keyboards and better email while Apple built an app platform. They optimized the old paradigm while the paradigm changed underneath them. When the platform shifts, incremental improvements on the old platform are worthless. You must shift with it or die. The deeper lesson is about corporate hubris. RIM believed their success made them special, that their understanding of the market was superior, that their engineering culture was unbeatable. They stopped listening to signals, dismissed the iPhone as a toy, ignored shifting customer preferences, assumed enterprise customers would never defect. Each assumption was logical based on past data. Each assumption was catastrophically wrong. Kodak invented the digital camera and refused to cannibalize film. Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix and didn't. Nokia dominated mobile phones and missed smartphones. BlackBerry invented smartphones and missed the app revolution. The pattern repeats. Incumbent success breeds conservative thinking. Conservative thinking creates vulnerability. Disruptors exploit vulnerability. The cycle is predictable and seemingly unavoidable. What makes BlackBerry's fall especially painful is they saw it coming. Engineers warned about touchscreens. Product managers begged for open platforms. Younger employees understood the app shift. The information was there. Leadership ignored it. Not from stupidity but from conviction. They genuinely believed keyboards and security would prevail. They bet the company on that belief. And lost everything. Epilogue: the ghost in your pocket. Walk through any corporate office today. iPhones everywhere. Some Android. 0 BlackBerries. The physical keyboard is extinct. The red LED notification light is gone. BBM is dead, shut down in 2019. The entire BlackBerry experience has been erased from daily life. A generation of workers has no memory of it. But the legacy remains in invisible ways. Push notifications. Smartphone addiction. The expectation of instant communication. The blurring of work-life boundaries. The anxiety of unread messages. BlackBerry invented all of this. They created the always-on, always-connected work culture that now dominates professional life. They built the addiction machine and taught everyone to be addicts. Then they lost control of the machine. Mike Lazaridis, now in his 60s, rarely gives interviews. His wealth, once over $1 billion, is diminished but still substantial. He funds quantum computing research. Donated hundreds of millions to Canadian universities. Stays out of the spotlight. Jim Balsillie similarly retreated. Focuses on philanthropy and policy. Neither has publicly acknowledged the full scope of their failure. The Waterloo campus still stands, partially occupied by BlackBerry's skeleton crew. Other sections rented to startups and university researchers. Walking through it feels like touring ruins. The cafeteria where thousands ate now serves dozens. The volleyball courts outside are empty. The energy is gone. Just echoes of empire. In 2024, most people under 25 have never held a BlackBerry. To them, it's ancient history. Like Palm Pilots or Motorola Razrs. Devices their parents used. Irrelevant to modern life. The complete cultural erasure of a brand that once defined mobile communication is almost unprecedented. From indispensable to invisible in a decade. But for those who lived through it, who felt the addiction, who typed a million emails on those keyboards, the memory is visceral. The weight of it in your hand. The click of the keys. The red light blinking in dark rooms. The phantom vibrations. The Pavlovian response to notification sounds. BlackBerry didn't just make phones. They rewired human behavior. And that rewiring persists even though the device is gone. The final question, could anything have saved them? With perfect foresight, if Mike and Jim had embraced touchscreens in 2008, opened the platform to developers, made BBM cross-platform, and unified leadership, could BlackBerry have survived? Maybe. Maybe they'd be like Microsoft, diminished but alive. Maybe they'd have been acquired by Google or Samsung and lived on as a brand. Maybe they'd have found a sustainable niche. But probably not. The forces against them were massive. Apple's ecosystem integration. Google's free Android platform. The app developer community's momentum. The consumerization of IT. The generational shift in user preferences. BlackBerry was swimming against a tsunami. Even with better decisions, survival was unlikely. The platform shift was too fundamental. The market too brutal. What they had was precious and temporary. A moment in time when physical keyboards and secure email mattered more than apps and ecosystems. That moment passed. They clung to it as it disappeared. Held tight to a world that no longer existed. And when they finally opened their hands, there was nothing left. This is the story of BlackBerry. The most secure phone empire ever built. Destroyed not by hackers, not by competitors, but by apps, arrogance, and a keyboard they loved more than survival. The addiction they created consumed them. The fortress they built became their prison. And the empire they commanded was deleted, line by line, until nothing remained but memory and lessons written in $75 billion of ash. The clicking of those keyboards is silent now. Forever.